How would you describe South Africa in 5 words?
South Africa in 5 words. Glorious. Man. It's magnificent. Let's see. Welcoming. Large. And it's fun.
Fun. I
Yeah.
like that one. I like that
Yeah,
one. I like
yeah.
that one. What has been some of your highlights, since being here, since arriving?
Well, the last time I came here was 7 years ago.
Wow.
And it was like, it was just Durban and like Richards Bay and some like rural stuff. But I spent a lot of time with families, so I think that like, that's what I meant by like very welcoming, really enjoyed that. Today I got to the like really quick, like overlooking the city thing. So obviously that, but really, man, my greatest memories are like my relationships with Greg and like Easy, my man Dumiso, he's in LA now, but just the friends I made,
That's fantastic. Speaking about relationships, what role did God and your family play in you becoming propaganda?
That's a good question, man. Like my immediate family, or like my wife and children, or what do you mean?
We can talk about all the kinds.
Well, I would ultimately, like, it was God's idea. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah.
I think that I was I think I was an artist from day one. Like, I wanted to do visual arts first. And I came from, just being sort of a California kid. I just came from a world where we were very allowed to be, especially with our hip hop, like very open with our worldview, like and pretty much all hip hop was faith based. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was Muslims or street knowledge or 5%ers. So like I don't think there was an option to sort of do this kind of like Christian music as its own thing. So I just think that the cultural climate sort of allowed for me to flesh out my faith with my work, you know what I'm saying? Which obviously that was something that God kind of sovereignly put together. And then, and just as I've grown as a man and as a Christian, so has propaganda, you know what I'm saying? And then my parents were relatively supportive, you know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
But that's because, like, I went to college, like, I got a master's degree, like, I had no, like, delusions, like, I didn't quit stuff, you know what I'm saying, to go do music. Like, music kind of, it just kept knocking on the door, you know what I'm saying, and it was a moment where I just kind of realized, like, if I was going to be diligent for anything that I do, I needed to put more, like, not be so, like, divided in my time and attention. And that's kind of like, and again, like, I legit waited until, like, I absolutely had to, but yeah, like I said, I think because I was relatively responsible with, like, finishing school and getting the job done, getting work done, they were very supportive in my art. Yeah,
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first subject you wrote about, and does it carry the same weight today?
Not at all. First subject, I was just a battle rapper, like,
Right.
so it wasn't about anything,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, except for just, loving hip hop and killing MCs, you know what I'm saying. So, like, I don't. Just raps about nothing,
Okay. Oh, wow. You are a rapper,
Yeah.
a pastor, and a poet. What would you like to be called first?
Well, I'm not a pastor. That's funny how that just recently started getting around.
Wow, so my research lied to me.
No, it's the last few articles have said that, and I was like, oh, no, I don't know where that came from, but I think there was a stint in college when I helped out with the youth. You know what I'm saying? But like, I wasn't a pastor.
Okay.
So I would immediately pull that one off the table. You know what I'm saying? But I equally enjoy like rap and poetry, like legitimately equally, you know. And I think just artists probably on top of all of it was what I'd be called overall. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You proclaim that love is not love until it's tested, or if it's never tested.
Yeah.
What are some of the ways in which you have tested love, and what were some of the results?
Well, I didn't put love to the test. It's just, you know, the situation. You know, man, when you get married, like, I think it's so funny. It's like, you know, as a Christian single, there's these like put together these lists. You know, you're praying for this and like, you know, looking for these traits, and then you meet a person, and it was like, I had no idea what I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, really that's what, and you have no idea, like, I look back and I'm going, this list was stupid because I had no idea not only what I wanted or what I needed. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And then, you know, Lord brings a young lady, and for me it was like, she has traits, like I said, she has traits I wanted that I didn't even know I wanted. You know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful.
But in that, there's just, and the flip side of that is like, I think you don't realize the depths of your selfishness, like, until there's another human you have to, like, figure out how to live life with. Yeah. You know, so I just think that, like, that the process of somebody who's, you know, you've lived 20 some odd years just being you, and a lot of times you're not even comfortable with just you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you like, I don't even like my own company. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I got to figure out how to make, you know, make this work with somebody else. So those are hard days, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'm not, the idea that like, no, there is no exit. Wow. There's no exit strategy. This has to work, you know. Having children's the same, you know what I'm saying? Again, like, I just, anybody says their kids don't like annoy them, don't listen to any of their parenting advice, because they're lying. Okay. Because like, your children will get on your nerves, you know what I'm saying? Because you're two different humans, you know what I mean? So I think that like, but that like desire to see life flourish is what pushes it. And the same with friends, you know what I mean? Like, you know, your friends that truly know you, you know what I'm saying, will grate at you. The work that you say you love, when it don't come easy, it'll grate at you. And then it's like, man, do you really love this? You know what I'm saying? I always say, especially with music, like, work is what you do after you're working. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So after you clocked out of your job, now you're working. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you don't love it, you're not gonna actually clock in. You know what I mean? If you're not handling like 20-hour a week, you know, in addition to a few like units you're taking in college, you want to do music?
No way.
Nah, you're not ready. You know what I'm saying? So like, those phrases, I love this, is my passion. Nah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So like,
throughout your music, you touch on a lot of subjects like astronomy and ancient civilization. Yeah. Does this stem from curiosity for the things that the Bible doesn't tell us?
Wow, I never thought of it like that. I think I've just been curious about just ancient civilizations, period. Like, I taught history when I was teaching high school. My major was, you good, don't worry about it. My major was intercultural studies and sociology. So like, I think I've just always been fascinated with ancient civilizations. But I don't think, I never necessarily correlated it with what the Bible talks about or doesn't talk about. Okay. But I do find it interesting when to our shame, I think we've really like westernized the Christian faith and the Bible to the point to where we're missing a lot of the beauty of its ancient cultures. I think a lot of times when we try to spiritualize it, we feel like we're elevating the scriptures.
Yeah.
But I think the beauty of it, to really have a higher view of scripture, is to see how phenomenally human it is.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That these were people living in real civilizations on this landmass that we're on.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So when you allow for that to be really there, then understanding like Mesopotamian ziggurats, you know, and irrigation, you know, and then going, so the Tower of Babel, like, I read about those in my ancient civ class.
Wow.
They were pillars to heaven that these people believed in. You know what I'm saying? It's right there. You know what I mean? The relationship with land and with soil and that, like, just in a modern Western eye just doesn't understand how we relate to the land. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, I feel like the ancients did, and it's lying right in our scriptures. Like, I'll really push at you when the people were exiled in after the 490 years of Israel, and then they were finally captured by Babylon and Assyria.
Yeah.
What did the prophet say to them? He says, "You didn't let the land rest."
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
wow.
There's a relation to the soil that like I'm missing. You know what I mean? So like, I need to think about. So I've never thought about, like I said, like ancient history not being told in scripture, but I'm like, it's actually there. It's just culture. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. In your track Darky from your latest album,
let's go straight to it. Wow.
The words dark skin, nappy head, always being ugly are mentioned in the intro. And would you say that the hurt of being called ugly, stretches more or is absorbed by more than just the outside skin? Would you say that a black person felt more or felt ugly on the inside as well?
Wow. I don't know if I could say it for everyone, but I say that, definitely, like, ideals of beauty for anybody, after a while, it does get into your heart and your psyche, and you start, manifesting and sort of believing, what's being spoken over you all the time. Sho gives this example of, like, he says his mom one day when he was a kid just said, "Baby, you look good in red." Oh. And that became, and to this day, he's like, it's my favorite color. You know what I'm saying? And, it's just like, that's because my mother told me I looked good in it. You know what I mean? He said he didn't connect those dots till he was an adult. But I think when you constantly hear something, or even the subtleties of it. So like, sort of the American experience is kids tease each other here and there, and sometimes more harshly than others, but it's subtly affirmed in images you see in TV, and who's magazines putting out like top 10 most beautiful people. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, wow, none of them have my features. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, you start like being like, well, you're not necessarily telling me I'm ugly, but I'm looking at what you say is beautiful, and I'm like, I will never be that. So it definitely gets into your bones.
Let's go down to the hook. Some people still blind, hating on their own kind.
Mm-hmm.
That part reminded me that I've always been troubled by the notion of hating on one's own kind.
Yes.
How would you, for instance, encourage a person of any race, who act intentionally racist towards their own kind, to see and seek the beauty in their own kind?
Yeah, I think that has to do with how hard I can push here. Imperialism and colonialism, and when you colonize a place and subject them to things that don't, and then again, it's like in America it was called like the Willie Lynch theory, which was how it was this idea of how you keep slaves in line. It's kind of like, it's the same as tribalism. You know what I'm saying? You cut them in half and say you guys are in charge, but they're like, but we're the same people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And say, I like y'all because y'all look a little different. So, but the conqueror did that. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And then when you start buying it, then you self-police. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where that chorus kind of came from. But I think when you can, so if you can pull that camera up, you know, get a 30,000 foot lens and realize I'm actually perpetuating something that was put on me. And no one's telling you not to have preferences. You know what I'm saying? Like we all have preferences. It is like can't blame a person for that. You know what I'm saying? But to say that I now get to subjugate you because you don't fit, you know, an ideal that was placed on me in the first place. You know, so I think, and then ultimately at the end of the day, until you really understand that we're talking about image bearers, you know what I'm saying? I think we'll always have these sort of like oppressive actions towards each other until we realize like, yo, you're made in God's image.
Wow.
And that's beautiful, you know?
The revelation.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, sure. Wow. Okay. What does it mean to you to rise up, and how does your style of self-expressing allow you to do what you're called to do?
Rise up. Unpack that for me. What do you mean by rise up?
You know, considering ways in which you can make a difference by rising up and taking action.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and this might be like hard for college age. Okay. I'm a kind of burst a sort of like an idealism bubble.
Yeah.
And like, when I look at it's really hard. I'm not gonna change the world. Right?
All right.
Like, you guys are South Africans. There's millions of South Africans that existed. There's one Nelson Mandela. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Like, one dude.
Yeah.
You feel me? There's a lot of people that played a role, but that guy, right?
Yeah.
When I look in scriptures, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of humans, but it's kind of about, like, there was only one Joseph. You know what I'm saying? There was one Isaiah. There was one. You feel me? So, like, so when you let go of that notion that, like, I'm probably not the Moses.
Yeah.
I'm probably not him.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that if I don't live at that time, I don't pick up my sword and fight. You feel me? Right. So in my head, I'm saying I am playing a part in a bigger story. So, and I'm going to play my part well. I think of the talents parable when Jesus came and gave one dude 1 talent, one dude 2, the other one 5, right? And then he just came back looking for a return on investment. Maybe I'm not the 5 talent guy.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'm the 2 talent guy.
Right.
But I tell you what, I'm going to work those 2 talents. So I think that when you have that attitude of being like, I'm going to work what you give me, right? And work it well to the best of my ability because I know I play a part of a bigger picture, then I think then you stand and you deliver. You know what I mean? Like, you want me to push it further? Like, there's only one Lecrae. Like, there's only one. Yeah. I'm not him.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So do I keel over and stop rapping? No, I'm not him. I play my part. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah.
If we were to sit down a year from now, reflecting on your career, what would you have liked to achieve?
Man, I would like to have bought my family a house.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I got 2 kids, man. They got to eat. I think, lofty ideas. Like, I would really feel like I would want to say that, I pushed like the justice needle further, that people have had a better view of God and a better understanding of artists, of God-fearing artists doing art, you know what I mean? And again, push the needle forward. I hope I would have opened the door for younger dudes, Wonderful. And ladies out there. I hope I would have advocated and put a voice to, people who feel like they haven't been heard.
Which brings me to my next question.
Yes.
It's actually my last question.
Okay.
What would you tell your 21-year-old self today?
21-year-old self, I'd say, don't date that girl. It was a bad idea. No, I'm kidding. But there was a girl I probably shouldn't have dated. But
all right.
But I think it would be a matter of like, man, don't be afraid to like go to the counselor's office, ask questions, go to the office hours for your professor. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are much more willing to help Because I've always felt, just like as an LA boy, I was like, I never wanted to come off like I was thirsty or like, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like I probably could have like got around a lot of like walls I walked into if I'd have just asked. And they put it on their door. They're like, hey, we meet from 4 to 6.
Wow.
You can just come ask me whatever you want. And I'm like, I don't know. No. I know exactly. I should have just went in there and asked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'd say, yo, like, ask questions, get help. You know, don't try to. People are willing to help. Yeah.
People are willing to help. Willingness. Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful.
Because, I mean, I feel like I'm that. Like, dude, like, I mean, this kind of like, so like, take Jay Gibbons, for example. He just was like, hey, man, can we kick it sometime? I was like, absolutely.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I just put him on a plane with me. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you so much.
Yeah.
I learned such a lot.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow. Anyway, so that's all we have today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Dude.
And all the best with the rest of your tour.
Thank you so much.
I know it's gonna cook. You know,
it's
gonna be
fun,
hot.
man.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
awesome.
y'all, man.
Awesome.